I'll show you how to do derivatives using the chain rule. So say I have a function f of x is equal to 3x squared. Doing the derivative here is straightforward. We get 6x. We pull this 2 down, we get 3 times 2, and we reduce this one from 2 to become a 1, but we don't write the 1 because it's hidden. It's just 6x. But what if we have a function which is sort of interconnected with a different function? Take the exponential function, for instance. It looks like this. Now we have e raised to the variable x, but it doesn't have to be raised to a one single variable. It can be raised to an expression. Like this. You have a function of x, which is the exponential function raised to an expression which contains the variable we will do the derivative with regards to. Now the chain rule applies. Now we have to consider the derivative of two functions. First, function e raised to some function, and 3x squared raised to some function. Now you might wonder, where did y come from? I just introduced y here, not confuse it with x, because x is supposed to be here. And this, we can kind of imagine this entire expression right now to be y. I simply picked y. I could have picked any letter, but it was simply to have something different from x. When we're doing the derivative now, we need to do two derivatives. So we have g sub x is equal to e 3x squared. First, what happens when we do this derivative? It remains, it becomes exactly the same. And that is the outside function, if you will. So that becomes the same. This is our y in this example. This is the outside function. And then the chain rule says that we have to multiply with the derivative of the inside function. Now, what is the inside function? Inside function is, in this case, I called it y derivative, the derivative of y. So we get g we have to consider what is this, the derivative of this. But we had that up here. Six x. So we get 6x times e 3x squared. E to y outside function, y inside function. So our final answer becomes 6x times e to the 3x squared. Let's do another example. Say we have a function sine. Here we have two functions. We have the outside function, sine, of some function which I deem now call y. And the inside function, which is y. Y is equal to 6x cubed. If this was f of x, then f derivative of x becomes sine y derived with respect to y times y derivative, y marked. Now I'm using y here to show you that everything inside the sine is the inside function. And I'm using y here to not make it too complicated. Hopefully it makes sense. But to clearly show you what is the outside function and what is the inside function. It's the outside function, the derivative of the outside function with respect to y times y, the derivative of y with respect to x. So sin y becomes cos y. Y marked becomes 6x3 marked. Three times 6, 18x. Reduce 3 to 2. I substitute this expression back in for y, and I move all this to start to make it more clear. 18x squared cosine 6x cubed. And that's our final answer. Let's do a logarithmic example. So we have some function f of x is equal to the natural log of 3x cubed plus 2x. Our outside function is the natural log function. I'll call it ln of g right now. This is g. Recall, we have the outside function, the derivative of the outside function multiplied with the derivative of the inside function. So the outside function then becomes, as we know, ln g, derivative of that becomes 1 over g. So we begin. F of marked of x is equal to 1 over g times g marked. 1 over 3x cubed plus 2x. And we don't do the derivative of this inside function now at this point. Now this here is only focus on the outside function, which is the logarithmic. And the logarithmic ones, that's just 1 over and whatever the expression is inside the logarithm here, 1 over this. And we just substitute it right in. Don't do the derivative of this here. But then we're supposed to multiply with this derivative, which is 3 times 3, 9. We use the parentheses now because there are multiple terms. 9x, and we have 1 reduced there, so 9x squared plus, this becomes only 2 when we do the derivative, because the x becomes 1 minus 1, x0, 1. And now we'll just move this on top for cleanliness. 9x cubed, sorry, 9x squared plus 2, 3x cubed plus 2x. And that's our final answer.